side of the house, and we don't feel the need to run both air conditioners if nobody's over here, you know? So, yeah, so I put fans on me when I'm working. Okay, well, how I run the show is I'm going to start by asking you some icebreaker questions, and then we're going to ask people to come up and ask questions. And a lot of times people are shy and they might not come up, but if you are in the chat and you want to ask questions, you know, you could do that there too. Let me you guys make sure you tap the screen. I know there's only 7 of you in here right now. I don't know why. I just don't get pushed out to the FIP until we do all of the stuff. I like literally I don't get any attention at all until we do that. And I don't know why also I cannot get my YouTube to start. It doesn't look like it started over there either. Oh, now it has. Okay. I just there we go. All right. Now we got the YouTube up. And let's get the questions. Let's get the questions. All right. If you guys are friendly and you want to come up and ask Tiny Science a question, don't forget the guest box is open. I'll ask him my icebreaker questions, and you can come up and ask questions after that. And again, if you're shy, just ask them in chat and I'll read them out. Make sure you share out the live. Make sure you help me reach my gift goal. It is only 666 roses. I see you guys smash gift goals where every gift is 100 coins each. These are 1 coin each. Help me reach those goals. And also, if you haven't subscribed, please think of doing so today. It's less than a cup of coffee a month. You are subscribed to Netflix, Hulu, Paramount Plus, and so many other channels that you never watch because you're here every day, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, because I see you in everybody's lives. So cancel some of those subscriptions, save yourself some money, and come over here and subscribe to creators like myself and Tiny Science. All right, here we go. What's one belief you used to hold strongly that now feels strange to you that has nothing to do with religion?
Oh, I would say the belief in karma. I would say that's something that I used to believe. Like, if you do good, good will happen. I've found that that's not the case. You can be like the best person. You can do the best things. You can do all the good things, and shitty things will still happen to you. So
Yeah.
and also inversely, you can be a terrible person. You can be a piece of shit human being, and then you can have a lot of good things happen to you. So I don't think it's a thing.
I never really believed in earthly karma because I could see that wasn't a thing. I was like for me, it was just seeing people like Trump always get away with everything. And I was like, karma is not a thing. Because he and his family have always been racist. They've stolen money from, children with cancer, for Christ's sake. Anyway, and nothing bad would happen to him. So there were instances like him in my life, but I always thought that, God would get him. so one day, and you're
Right.
gonna get it, But obviously, I don't believe in that now. But I think I also used to believe in luck because I always felt very lucky. And I do, I find a lot of money and I have won money and stuff like that. But I always, gave it up to luck, as if there are some people who are lucky and some people who aren't lucky. But now I just realized that I also, if you really think about it, I do things different. I find money because I'm very observant. I look around when I'm walking and doing things. And other people are not. They're very, they don't pay. Just for an instant, my son moved to New York and he had lived there for a while, like a couple of years, okay? And when I went out to visit him for the first time, we went into, I always get the train stations mixed up with the one in LA. Is it called Grand Central Station in New York or Union Station?
I think so.
The big one.
I think it's Grand Central. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
the big one. Okay. Anyway, we walked in there and I was stopping and I was taking pictures of the ceiling. The ceiling inside there is the sky and there's constellations on it and there's lights and it's just really beautiful. It's really cool, and I had no idea that that's what it looked like. So I was really excited. And I was taking pictures, and my son goes, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "I'm taking pictures." And suddenly he looked up and he was like, "What? I never knew this was here." And I get off at this train station all the time, and I started to realize, like, yeah, there are people who are just living their lives. They're not paying attention to little details. And yeah, that's probably why I find more money on the ground than other people. I'm not lucky. And I probably won money on scratchers because I play scratchers, and other people don't play scratchers. They're smarter with their money than I am. So I used to believe in luck, but I don't really believe in it anymore. I say really because there's always
a couple years ago, I was in a gas station and I looked down, and in the Butterfingers there was like a $10 bill just sitting there. It looks like somebody dropped it, and I was like, "Oh, cool!" And it was just because I looked down and because I observed,
right,
and I saw that it was there. Yeah,
right, exactly. Hey, Christina, good morning. How are you? I saw Joyful pop in. I don't know if you're still in here. Joyful, good morning. Okay, when you hear the word faith, what comes to mind now?
a belief without evidence.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
pretty much it. Yeah.
And I also I think of it now like the if I reflect on who I was as a Christian, it was just basically wishing, like it was just wishing that I was right on all the things that I had faith in. Like, there was no.
Yeah, it's just like, well, since I'm hoping that this is the case, therefore this is the case. I don't think that that's rational. I don't think that's reasonable.
Right.
I think that that's like just saying, if I wish long and hard on this, and I just keep hoping, then this will happen. No, not at all. You gotta like put some work forth there. You gotta pay attention. That's part of it too. You gotta, see if there's evidence for that.
Exactly.
And I think a lot of people miss that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. What's the weirdest or most niche rabbit hole you've ever gone down online?
Oh man. Back in my conspiracy days, I used to go into all kinds of stuff about like the government and like how money is formed and like the Federal Reserve and the federal income tax law and stuff like that. And I thought like this was all like a huge conspiracy, but it's really just a business practice.
Yeah.
Like I just found out that it's like helping the rich stay richer. Literally, it's not a conspiracy in the sense that like there's an end goal. It's just assholes that want more money.
Exactly. Exactly. And and I used to think to myself, why would somebody with millions, billions, whatever amount of dollars they have want more? Until I realized that like they literally just want it so that they have more power, because with more money, the more people they can buy, with the more governments they can buy, the more everything they can buy, and I don't think like that. So I couldn't understand that there were other people who do. Like, it was like a rude awakening for me to realize there were other people who do think like that. Christina, thank you so much for making it rain in my roses this morning. Thank you. One of the weirdest rabbit holes I ever went down was I used to listen to a lot of true crime, as many people have. And I got into the Maura Murray story. I don't know if you're familiar with it or not. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Was she a little person? Was
Yes.
that the little person? Yes.
Oh, no,
yeah,
no,
I've seen that.
no. She's not a little person. I'm sorry, I misunderstood you. She
Okay.
she was a
Then it's not
college
that
student who went missing in the White Mountains in like New Hampshire, and she was a college student, and it was a one-car accident. She like ran into a tree or something. People came out to aid her. Went back into their houses like to call authorities for her or what have you, and then when they came back, she was gone, and she's never been found again. So that was a real rabbit hole because then it took me to this couple who also went missing for a little while in that same area, but like in the 50s or 60s, and they claimed to be abducted by aliens. But the reason why their claim even is something that I would remotely consider was because they were a biracial couple, and they brought all that attention to themselves in a time where like that was not a time to be bringing attention to yourself if you were a biracial couple. And they lived their whole lives believing whatever they experienced to be true, and they went missing in like this deep rabbit hole of conspiracies and just utter silliness. And it was very interesting. It's a Maura Murray's case is a very interesting case, to say the least, and it only gets more interesting in the years because there's writers and people who have gotten involved, and now other characters are now involved that you wouldn't suspect should be even a part of the story anymore, or something. So anyway,
what state did this happen in?
She went missing in the White Mountains in New Hampshire, I believe.
Huh. Well, it could be the Jersey Devil. Could be.
See, there were things like that. There's so yes.
It could be Sasquatch. Yeah.
There's so many conspiracies about what happened to her. So it was one wild rabbit hole. Okay, what's one question you wish more people asked you?
Do you want to hang out?
I like that. I like that.
Do you want to do something?
That enough.
Do you want to?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, do you guys want to go and hang out at a park or something? Have a barbecue? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like.
Yeah. Yeah. I do like sometimes think. This is silly, but I'll be thinking. I kind of want to play some Mario Kart on Nintendo Switch or whatever. I should go ask people if they want to do that, and then I never ask anybody. Let's play some Mario Kart. Do you want to do that? Do you have a Nintendo Switch?
I have a Switch. Yes, I do. I have Mario Kart 8, I believe. Yeah.
Oh, I think I have Mario Kart 8 too. We should set up a day where we play some Mario Kart together because I like Mario Kart.
I'm in. Let's do it.
All right, we're gonna do this. I'm gonna DM you later, and we're gonna play some Mario Kart. All right, let's see. If someone made a limited edition candle based on your vibe, what would it smell like?
It would smell like cannabis and leather.
Okay, I would like that a lot. My daughter, not so much. She doesn't like the smell of cannabis, but I love the smell of cannabis. And leather, come on. That is amazing. Okay, mine would smell like edible cookies being baked.
Ooh, hell yeah. What kind of cookies? Like chocolate chip cookies?
Probably macadamia nut cookies.
Oh,
like
yeah.
white chocolate
hell
macadamia nut cookies. Yeah. I like edibles the way they smell when they're cooking too. So I don't know if I'm allowed to say all that, but I just did.
I think you can. Sure, why not?
Okay. What's a religious phrase or cliche that still lives rent-free in your head for better or worse?
Oh, man. I mean, I say Jesus Christ all the time.
There you go.
Jesus fucking Christ.
I love that. I think that unfortunately for me, I hear in my head still, I'll hear God is good all the time, all the time. God is good. It's just an awful thing that we said as Christians, and almost so robotic that it was horrible.
Oh yeah, yeah. I have
I'll
some
be
Mormon
bringing.
hymns because I grew up Mormon, so I have some Mormon
Mhm.
hymns that jump into my head, like "For I am a child of God" and stuff like that. Like,
Hey, if
yeah,
you're in the
it
guest
happens.
box, stay in the guest box. I'll bring you up in just a moment. I'm gonna finish my icebreakers with Tiny, and then I'll bring you guys up. Okay? So go ahead and put your request in, and I'll bring you up. What's a totally mundane thing that brings you unexpected joy? Or maybe it's not expected. You know, it's a mundane thing, but it brings you joy.
I mean, just being a nice person to other people, like it brings me joy. Just like watching people's expressions or like smile. Like I love making people smile. You know, when I go out in public and
Yeah.
holding the door for somebody, or just like reaching and helping somebody short reach something that's on a high shelf. You know, stuff like that. Like, yeah, I love doing that. I think that it brings me a lot of joy. Yeah.
Good morning, Spencer. I think that oh, I don't want that. I think that along those same lines, I like to give people compliments, um, like genuine compliments, but complete strangers. Like if I see a woman and I could tell, like, you know, she dressed as because she was feeling good about herself that day. I could tell she did that. Like you can tell when a woman's put on her makeup and got her dress matching her shoes. I'm gonna make sure and go tell her. I'm gonna say, "Oh my God, your dress is adorable," or "I love your look today," or "Your hair is amazing," because I don't think I think a lot of times we think things very nice about other people, but we don't take the moment to say those things out loud, whether we know the person or we don't. But people need that. They need validation. They need recognition. They need the positive attention. There's so much negative in life that just a small amount of positive attention to anybody in your path during the day can change their whole mood. It can
Oh
it
yeah,
can work miracles, you know.
yeah. It definitely
Um,
helps give them a boost for sure.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, for sure. Okay, you are given 2 minute rant window with no judgment. What topic are you gonna rant about?
Um, I would say I would rant about how fucked up our government is, and how greedy these assholes are on both sides of the aisle, and
Hell
how
yeah,
party politics has screwed us over more than it has solved any problems. That's probably what I would go on.
absolutely. Um, I could go on a rant for 2 minutes. Hey, Fat Jesus, how are you? Um, God, there's so many things that I could rant about, but I just think if I was given 2 minutes to rant about anything, God, there's so much to
I
rant
know it took me a
about.
second too. Like I had to think about it.
There's a lot to rant about. I would probably just because I'm a woman spend 2 minutes ranting about how stupid it is that women are still in this day and age fighting for equality on any level. It's just so dumb. It's and I would probably rant to the women more because if all of the women would realize that and say enough is enough, men would not be able to keep doing it. But because some of the women are convinced that they are not equal to men, we have an issue, you know, and it makes me pissed when I think about it. Um,
Preach,
what's
sister.
something?
Preach.
What's something you used to be afraid of that you've totally outgrown?
Fear of God, fear of heaven, hell.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, for sure.
Oh yeah,
I
yeah. I
think
used to be like super scared of it when I was younger, and then once I got older, I'm like, why am I afraid? Like, shouldn't I be more afraid for the living than I am the dead? Like, shouldn't I care more about what happens now instead of some promise that's just a gamble? It's yeah. I mean, it's kind of silly.
yeah, it is. When I think about how there may be a future where people are in a better place off than us, there may be. I'm sometimes a nihilist and don't believe that, but I do have hope that when I see the younger generation coming up and saying like this is bullshit and we need changes and stuff, that gives me hope. But or when I think about
Yeah,
if
hell
there
yeah.
is life on another planet somewhere and they finally find our whether we're still a civilization or if they find what we've left behind after after dying off because we don't take care of anything on this earth. I wonder if they're going to just be like, you know, what the hell? What the hell did these people do with every resource and every bit of knowledge and stuff they had? What the hell, you know? But I used to be very much afraid of people I love going to hell. And since deconstructing, one of the things that really helped me deal with, uh, you know, that feeling you have when you deconstruct about, oh my God, there is no afterlife. And then that kind of sucks. And you think, I don't get to live forever. And that kind of sucks and stuff. I also get to realize that nobody I love is ever going to be tortured for an eternity. And I don't have to be afraid of that anymore. That's nobody's doing that. That's not going to happen to anybody.
Yeah. If anything, I look at it like if you're gonna exist forever, what are you're gonna run out of stuff to do.
Yeah, right?
You're gonna be bored
Right?
eventually.
And I get bored 10 minutes doing the same thing. How on earth am I going to live forever?
Right.
That's crazy. You know, and somebody brought that up one time to me. They were like, do you ever like just really try to conceive what forever means? And I thought about it one time when my kids were in school. My daughter went to a charter school, and in the school they had this big box that was an acrylic box so you could see it, and they were collecting 1 million stamps, and every day you could come in and put sheets of stamps in or whatever, and they would tally it up just so that the kids could start to conceptualize how big the number 1 million was. That's just 1 million. That's not even forever, right? And it was just such a big, huge amount. I don't think we ever finished filling the box, to be honest with you. The school.
We did not reach 1 million, and I still have one of those sheets.
My daughter just walked in. She goes, "We did not reach 1 million, and I still have one of those sheets." So, like, to think of forever, get out of here. That's wild. I don't want to do anything for forever. All right,
Yeah.
last question, and then I'm going to take questions from you guys out there in the audience. If you have questions, please come up. And if you're shy, you can ask your questions in the chat, and I'll read them out for Tiny. I know it's a little quiet this morning, but share out the live, tap the screen. I have a gift goal of the little hand with the heart. Don't forget to subscribe. If you're over on YouTube, you can ask your questions in chat too. And I'm going to bring up our first guest, but while I ask my last question, okay? My last question is, if your brain had a pop-up notification, what would it say most often?
I think it would say, "What the fuck." Like
Real.
that's the most. Yeah. Like typically, like somebody will say something, I'll be like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah.
Or something will happen, and I'll see it, and I'll be like, "What the actual fuck?"
I have to go along those same lines. I think mine would just be fuck off.
Real.
It would just be get the fuck. Good morning, unavailable. How are you today?
Hey, I'm chilling.
All right. Did you have a question for Tiny today?
Oh, well, I had a question for both of you guys.
All right.
So,
Okay.
I mean, this may be just a little bit personal, but like, do you guys like come from like a mainly theist like household, like people that believe in a higher power? They don't know what the hell to call it, but they just call it a higher power.
Well, I grew up. My mom's Mormon.
Mm.
She tried to get me to go to the church all the time. Like as a kid, like when I was young, I had no choice, so I kind of had to. But when I became like 11, 12, I started questioning it, and around like 13, 14, I was like, yeah, no, I'm not doing this anymore. But yeah, basically. I mean, I never like actually believed it. Like even as a little kid, I was like, yeah, sure, go Jesus, you know. But like I didn't like actually believe it, you know.
I can't say that. I believed everything 100% all the way. I believed Tiny. I believed the dumbest shit. If you picked out the dumbest shit in the Bible, I'm going to tell you I believed that with all my heart. I believed so much that God could do anything. That one time women and I were talking about God providing for women who were barren with a child, okay? Giving barren women children, you know? And I said, of course, God could do that. He can do anything. And my friend said, well, he can't do it for me. And I said, what are you talking about? Of course he can. He can do anything. And she said, Crystal, I've had a total hysterectomy. And I said, but God can heal your womb.
God.
I'm so sorry, but I
The
really
God
believe
Band-Aid.
that. Yeah, somehow he was going to rebuild that womb inside her, and I don't know what I thought. I was lost in the sauce.
You believed in magic.
I did. I did believe in magic. I just didn't call it
magic. Yeah, someone asked Tiny, what is your favorite random science fact? I would say that the fact that 13 million Americans believe chocolate milk comes from brown cows.
That is true.
It's one of the weird. It's just one of those weird things that it's like they actually believe chocolate milk comes from brown cow. Like, how do you get from? That's like thinking the moon is made of cheese, right?
Yeah.
Or
I feel like
the
this points
sky
towards
is
like our
water.
I feel like this just points towards like our pattern seeking like faculties. Like we just look for like look obviously, you know, we look at a white cow and we think, oh wow, you know, we see white milk always come from that. So like it makes sense. We can picture a brown milk coming from a brown cow.
So the strawberry milk come from pink cows?
Hey? Or red cows?
Yes, and apple juice comes from gold cows.
I have a question for you over from YouTube, Tiny. They want to know, what is your favorite dinosaur?
I would say the Utah raptor. Because it's the biggest one. And because it's the coolest of the raptors, I think.
That's cool. That's very cool.
So wait, so host, you came from like an actual, well, it sounds like you, because if you actually believed it, did like your family, was they also like in the same boat? Like y'all all like,
oh yeah,
had like religious
they
belief?
still are.
Yeah. So my question to that is like, how do you like deal with like in a sense of like how do you have a productive conversation with your family without I guess, you know, getting past all the, oh my God, you're an atheist? How could
I
you? You know,
I
ask like, how
really
do
don't
you
talk to
like?
them. I don't talk to them. I
And
actually, and I
that's
I
like,
hate
and that's what
saying
it seems
that.
like the alternative. That's just and yeah, and I do see like a lot of people do hate say, and I do. I hate seeing it that way. Like I hate seeing the alternative as just being I just have to just literally avoid my family, and it just seems like we're just gonna agree to disagree, and they just ultimately think I'm destined for hell. I try to like find some middle ground, but I guess the question is like, is there any possible middle ground? What is an approach to a crowd like that?
There is a middle ground for me. I'm okay that they believe. I don't have
Mm-hmm.
a problem with them believing. They don't want
True.
anything to do with me because I don't believe. So the middle ground needs to come from the religious side. Those
True.
people have to
Okay.
stop demonizing somebody. I just listened to who was I listening to? Mezzo last night, okay? And there was a Christian woman on, and he said, do you think that I should be put to unalivement because I don't believe? And she said, yeah, absolutely. I fucking hate atheists. I hate atheists. They can, and he goes, what about
Oh
the
my God.
LGBTQIA? And she goes, no, they shouldn't be put to death, but they should stop living their life that way. But atheists, they deserve everything they get.
Damn.
And for certain,
Holy
That's-
shit.
yeah. So
Well, that's probably the
the
first time
I'm,
I've seen a person hate like an atheist more than they do an LGBT person.
right.
That's the first.
She was so like, she was like,
That's how
no,
you know
you
the
deserve
hatred
to
must
die.
be deep. That's
Right?
raw hatred, right? When they're willing to say, "Listen, LGBT is fine, but nah, those guys, oh nah, I can't." That's how you
Yeah.
know. Oh yeah, there must really be some hatred in there,
And her
because
response
that's
was,
usually
because
the game ender.
you atheists be doing too much. Well, I liked her for her to know that most atheists aren't out there doing anything. Most atheists don't get on TikTok and talk about being atheists like I do, or like Tiny does, or any of the other atheists I know. Most atheists just get up in the morning, make coffee, pet their dog, and take their kids
Real.
to school. They're not out there doing anything. So for her to be saying, y'all doing too much, like, I don't even know what that means, you know? Tanya, I have another question for you from YouTube. When you were a theist / believer, who is a famous theist you looked up to or idolized? Or was
That's
there
a good
any?
question.
I mean, there wasn't really anyone. I mean, I was told that I should look up to Joseph Smith, and I guess like I was supposed to, but I never really did. But
Hey Matthew, you and I need to get together because I want to have you up here too as a guest. For me, I idolize so many stupid preachers. I told you guys I was in it really deep. What was the guy's name? Chuck Smith, I think. Chuck Smith. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Chuck Smith wrote The Cross and the Switchblade. Is that who wrote? You guys let me know in chat who wrote The Cross and the Switchblade. I idolized him. I always thought I was somehow going to help people in the gangs of New York. The delusions of grandeur that come with this religion is just funny when you think. I love Joyce Meyer. I loved Joyce Meyer so much. I liked Joel Osteen until he did the thing, where he didn't let people in his church. I don't know. I idolized a lot of apologists because that was how I grounded the ridiculous beliefs I had. I used to listen to Ken Ham. You guys, Ken freaking Ham. The guy who made the ark.
I remember my parents, well, my mom, she would like listen to like the Mormon church addresses. They would be on like Saturday or Sunday, I can't remember exactly, but it would be like 3 hours long of them just like standing on in front of a podium talking about like the most boring things. And I remember it was like pure torture for us. I was like, can we please go outside and play? Can we just do
Real.
something else? Yeah. She's like, okay, fine. Finally, she stopped making us do that.
So you grew up Mormon. Is there
Yeah.
any parts of the religion that you genuinely still miss today?
I miss the Rice Krispie treats.
I knew it. I was like, watch it be like something like so silly.
The bake sales.
Like, yeah, I
and
miss
the food,
those
yeah.
dry ass cookies
Yeah.
they gave me.
I miss the church rummage sales. Those were fun. I always got really good deals at the church rummage sales, but I can still go to church rummage sales. It just won't be my church. So I don't know if there's really anything I miss. I used to miss community. I missed that a lot. Hey, you guys, real quick.
True.
I have a gift goal of 5 of these goat things. It's 1 coin each, but I need 5 different people to send them up. If 5 people could send me up a goat to help me, that will boost us out in the algorithm a little bit. Yeah, I really missed the community really bad at first, and for a while, like, cause I didn't know how atheists found community. So I was like, atheists don't really do anything. They don't have a worldview they share. The only thing we share is we don't believe in this God. So now, how am I going to find community? And then I literally stumbled across this community on TikTok, and then Benny got me involved with the Deconstruction Junction, which is the Discord. And if you guys want, there's 2 Discord links in my bio. Join them both, the Deconstruction Junction and, of course, my Discord. But that community saved my life. It changed my whole outlook on everything. The people that are a part of that community are all amazing people. And they've taught me so much, like Tiny, about science, about philosophy, about history, things that you don't learn when you're a Christian, either by choice or because you're told not to learn it. So it's been great, and I don't miss community anymore because I have an amazing community.
Yeah, and honestly, you bringing up that, I do notice how welcoming and understanding, the atheist community is, because some of them were theists, understand the trauma behind it.
Hello,
the
hello,
nonsense.
hello. How are you? How are you? How are you doing
Jeffrey,
today?
don't interrupt. I was trying to be nice
Jeffrey
and bring you up,
Epstein?
even though I didn't want to, because I know you do that. But I thought, oh, he'll be quiet and he'll wait his turn. But you didn't, Jeffrey. So you're gone. Jeffrey, I think, is a troll, but sometimes he asks good questions. So I thought maybe I
Oh
could
God!
give him
Oh
a
no, he's a
chance.
good troll then. No. Those are usually
Yeah.
the good trolls are the one that asks the good questions, and they only do it to throw you off. So then when they go back to trolling, you're like just so confused.
True. True. Go ahead. I'm sorry, we were interrupted.
So like with the atheist community, I kind of like, I don't know, I kind of like felt like that, being probably like in early high school, maybe that last year, middle school, like grappling with these thoughts. I was kind of like, damn, bro, like I don't know when to go to. And like when I go to, just me like, listen, man, there's some higher power out there. And then all I ask is, where? just
Yeah.
And then it just seems like it circles back to, well, that's where faith comes in. It's just like our opinion and beliefs. And then that's when I usually draw the distinction between, beliefs and like knowledge, right? Knowledge is going to be a justified true beliefs, and opinions are just beliefs, things you accept as true. Now you can accept anything as true, but I just want to know how you arrive to this fact, and that's why I usually ask them, like, is their belief in God? Do you believe it's knowledge or just a belief? Because if it's something you accept as true, then that's just trivial, because then that's just your opinion, right? This is just something you accept as true, and there's nothing for me to talk about there. If you accept it, you accept it. But what we could talk about is, why do you think it's true, right? That's where I'm always skeptical, is where they always lose me at when it comes to discussing whether it's actually true or not. That's where it all falls off. And then I like get collectively gaslighted, right? And they tell me
Yes.
like, oh, you're just being closed-minded. And I'm just like, how am I being closed-minded by telling you that the same way you've arrived at your belief, anybody else could? And I just want beliefs that are actually true, right? I could think of plenty of beliefs that make me feel internally happy, make my stomach feel nice. But
Right?
that's not what I'm looking for, right? When I want to know whether a soul exists, I don't really care. I'm not discussing this on whether the fact is, do people accept this belief as true? I want to know whether it's actually true. I understand some people accept it as true, but then it gets into why do they? And then it just goes
Right.
back to, well, it's just my opinion, it's just my beliefs. Yes, that's circular. You don't need to tell me. You saying it's my belief is circular because we're already discussing
Right.
your belief. What we're now
Exactly.
discussing is what makes it true, what makes it rational. Is this belief warranted? And that's where usually they fall apart. And then it gets to, I don't know what to do. It's just like people's beliefs. And then I have to ask, well, I mean, do you just believe in things because they make you feel good or they're true? Because if it just make you feel good, I mean, I can conjure up, what if there's an imaginary dragon that's responsible for all your feelings, right? Everything you're feeling right now is explained by the invisible dragon. But when I said that, they're like, oh, well, that's obviously ridiculous. And I'm like, okay, well, what doesn't make yours obviously ridiculous to my perspective, right? When they're both obviously unfalsifiable. And that's when, and then, I point them out on their hypocrisy and say, hold on, why are you guys so quick to say, listen, this is obviously ridiculous. You even saying this is kind of just being dishonest. But that's the same way I view your claim on God and spirits and all that. I just think it's unfalsifiable jargon. And I can
Exactly.
agree they make you guys feel good. They're good beliefs. Maybe they make you act in a way
Thank
that
you,
I like,
Colin.
but that has nothing to do with truth. And
Right.
I don't know how to I don't know how to navigate in a family like that. Like, and like a person that's concerned with truth, and then everyone else is just kind of like, well, whatever I believe, whatever makes me feel good in my stomach. I don't know how to navigate in a family like this.
That's
And
because
this
you're
is kind of
trying to
where my
navigate
question was
cog
coming from.
yeah, you're trying to navigate through cognitive dissonance. And
Mm.
that is it's one of the hardest places. Hey Tiny, I've got another question for you over on YouTube. Have you watched any Mormon movies like Baptist at the Barbecue or have you watched the Book of Mormon?
Oh man, I want to watch the play, the Trey Parker
Yeah.
Matt Stone play. I've seen a couple songs from it, but I
From the
haven't
guys from
watched the
South
whole
Park,
thing.
right?
I want to watch the whole thing. I've seen their other movies like Cannibal the Musical, Orgasmo, and Basketball, and those are all pretty great movies. But um, Team America is awesome too. But no,
I
I
love
do
Team
remember.
America.
Yeah, I do remember as a kid watching some Mormon cartoons while we were in Sunday school, and the cartoons were kind of out there, like they were kind of crazy. Like it would talk about like um, Jesus and Satan being brothers, and like when you die, you get your own planet and things like that, and like I don't know. It's kind of
Yeah.
weird. Like one of the main stories was like they would always show like Joseph Smith being shown where the golden plates were and where to dig them up, and then taking them back and transcribing them, and like it would be like still images while someone's like narrating over it, and it wouldn't really be cartoons, but
Right.
it was like videos. But I don't know. I do remember like seeing some cheesy ass Mormon cartoons that they had that were like kids cartoons where it was like Noah like putting the animals on the ark, and like they drew the animals all weird, and it was like 60s or 70s style
High
animation. It
production
was
value,
terrible.
huh?
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, unavailable. I muted you only because when Tiny talks, I can't hear him when you're not muted. So when he talks, if you'll mute up
Yeah.
unavailable, I appreciate it. No, that's funny. Like, yeah, I watched a lot of Christian cartoons that were of that quality too, so I know exactly
I
what
do
you're
remember.
talking about.
I do remember watching Little House on the Prairie a lot when I was over at like other Mormon houses, like when we were being babysat. I do remember that. And
So since you never really believed this, did you ever consider going on a missions trip or getting more involved? Was there ever a point where you thought, well, maybe I should just get more involved?
What is a mission
No.
trip? Because I hear that a lot in Mormon, and I want to like understand that
Yeah.
more.
Well, basically what it is like you, when you reach a certain age, if you want to, you don't have to, but when you reach a certain age, you can go on what's called a mission and do missionary work, and where you like spread the word of Mormonism.
Oh,
And you,
so those are the people that
yeah.
come to my door.
Yeah, with the white shirts and the little
Yeah.
black name tags. Yeah, yeah. The Mormons. Yeah.
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 Like, oh.
Was there a specific moment or question that first made you start doubting that what you were being taught wasn't true? Do you remember something that you were like, the fuck? What's that?
Yeah, when I was asking about the resurrection, or no, I was asking about the golden plates. I was asking, where are the golden plates right now? Because I was like legitimately interested, like I wanted to see them. And then everyone I asked, they were like, "Oh, they were taken back up to heaven." And I'm like, "Well, why?" It just never made sense. Like nobody ever had a sufficient answer. Like they're
That
just like,
seems
"Well, that's just
suspicious.
what God decided to do." I mean, it's like Jesus going up to heaven after dying. Like, why didn't he stay around? When I asked that's what led to that question about Jesus was, well, why aren't these plates still here? That would like give more credence to Mormonism.
Right.
Why isn't Jesus still there? It would give more credence to Christianity. Like, what's the point in coming back and performing miracles and healing people if you're not there like perpetually? Like, I would stay if I was God or Jesus. I would be like, yeah, I want to fix this shit. Let's make the planet better. Why not? Like, it doesn't make any sense, like at all.
So when you like grew up, you didn't really have like a whole deconstruction process because at a very young age began to realize, this is all kind of bullshit. Am I right in that assumption?
Yeah, literally. My older brothers and sisters helped a lot too, because they knew it was bullshit, and they knew that.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. So they helped tell me like, hey, this isn't like I remember. I remember my older brothers and sisters told me to go ask the bishop, the guy who runs the church or whatever, and ask him what sodomy was. And I'm like 8 years old. I had no idea what it was. And I went up and asked him because I had no idea what it was. And he just like had the most embarrassing look. And he was like, where's your mom? Like, just, he didn't want to answer the question at all. And then later I found out like my older brothers and sisters, they got in trouble for it. But they were like, my mom was like, why did you have him ask that question?
Because we're older brothers and sisters, and that's what we do.
Right.
Oh yes, I got in lots of trouble because of having older brothers and sisters.
Oh yeah.
Oh wait, I had a question. Cause one of my friends recently just converted from Mormonism. Him and his dad. I get his dad. I think he converted first, but I think his dad just more recently converted. But yeah, he told me he was out kind of the moment he like heard that Mormons like believe that like black people were like cursed by God. He was like, yeah. Once I saw that, I was like, yeah, I'm out of here. This is like ridiculous. But yeah.
That's like the mark of Cain or the curse of Ham, basically. Talking about, I can't remember specifically what the curse of Ham is, but I know like Cain, after slaying Abel, was marked basically, and that's supposed to be where black people came from.
I know where
Um,
what the curse of Ham is. It's when Ham saw Noah naked, and then
yeah,
he
that's
went
right.
out and told his brothers, and his brothers went in and covered up their father, and so Noah cursed Canaan, Ham's son, to to be a slave, and people then started saying that's where black people came from, and that's why they should be enslaved. That
Yeah, there's another thing in Mormonism where Jesus allegedly was in the indigenous parts of America, and that's why the golden plates were buried there. It's all part of the story. But basically, Jesus helped them fight this war, and then they unalived Jesus again after he came back, and they were forever marked red by the blood of Jesus, and that's where the natives got their color from, and which is pretty racist. Yeah,
I mean, let's
and
face it. Jesus Loves the Little Children is one of the most racist songs that I have ever sang, and I sing it a
yeah,
lot.
yeah.
Red and yellow, black and white. What the fuck? What? I remember asking my mom that question too. By the way, your kids think about these things because I asked her, why do we say red and yellow, black and white? I was very little. And she said, oh, those are for the Indian, the Asian, Africans, and then us. And I was like, none of those people are those colors. Nobody's red, yellow, black, or white. How? What the fuck are you guys like? I obviously didn't say what the fuck when I was little, but in my brain, an equivalent thought of what the fuck was going on in my brain for a child. I was like, you have got to be kidding me. Nobody, not one human, is any of those colors. I thought it was the dumbest thing then. And then when I realized how racist it was when I was older, I was like, oh, that's a horrible song. Why are we teaching it to children? Did you have any beliefs that were hard to let go of since you didn't really believe? Were there any that kind of made you go, but what about this?
Well, yeah. I mean, I used to think like, well, like about the afterlife, like maybe I'll go to heaven or hell or whatever. And it took me a while to get over that. That was probably the hardest thing. But yeah, no, I didn't really. Oh, kitty.
This is Sputnik.
That's like hi, Sputnik. That's a flow. Is that a Maine Coon kitty?
I don't know. He was abandoned on our property with his brothers, and so we couldn't let them go. We had to keep him. I don't know what he
Yeah.
is. He's a pain in the butt.
It's a part of the cat distribution system.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Exactly.
Yeah. It didn't take me much to like walk away from because I wasn't really that deep into it. So.
Right. We got somebody come up. Hi, Paul. Can I get your age for TikTok purposes?
Yeah, 24.
Do you have a question for Tiny today?
Oh, no, I mean, sure. I was wondering about the deconstructing. Like, what made you or Tiny deconstructing the faith, I guess?
Well, the thing that was for me was it's not very convincing, especially when it comes to like the evidence for the claims.
Right, but you're making you're saying that there was a time in life where you didn't need evidence, you just followed the religion because what?
Yeah, I was a child. Yeah.
Gotcha. No, I mean I'm in the same boat. I mean I was indoctrinated within the faith, and I'm just not here to debate, just here to ask a few questions and see if it's if it's validated or not, if it's any contradictions. I mean, it's just, what I mean. I'm just here to learn.
I think for me, deconstruction was a process for me. I really believed, as I've been saying on this show, like I believed 100% of every single thing. I believed the Bible had no contradictions, that it was completely accurate, that the earth was only thousands of years old. I didn't believe in a flat earth because I did not read those verses to say that, but now that I look at it, I realize that actually is what they're claiming. But for me, it was realizing that God does not answer prayers. It's just not true. Every time there was a prayer answered in my life, there was human involvement in how that prayer was answered. So if I needed money, it's because a human being freaking got me money, whether it was my employer and I worked more hours, or whether a friend gave me money. There was always human involvement. Um, there was just so many things that it there was no way for me to continue to believe anymore. I realize Christians don't even believe everything they say, because, like, you'll ask them to pray and they'll say, well, God's not a genie. Okay, well, do you believe prayer works, or you don't believe prayer works? Because God says he'll give you anything you ask in his name, anything. And I'm just asking you to pray because I've got the flu today, and you're like saying, well, I'll pray for you, but doesn't mean you'll be healed. Well, then what's the point of praying for me? I can wish that I'd be healed. I don't, So it just was a million tiny things like that kept gnawing at me. And then the more I educated myself on the history of the Bible, where do these stories come from? Oh, you mean that Noah's Ark is from the Epic of Gilgamesh? What? Like, the more I just learned, I was like, this was just a story for ancient people, for an ancient time, and we somehow have decided to still believe all this when we put all the other religions away and said they were just mythology. We decided to hold on to this one. And it wasn't a good enough reason for me anymore. And so I just started deconstructing.
Fair enough. I mean, I'm kind of in the same boat myself. It's just trying to find myself without religion, if that makes sense. Because
Yeah.
when you're kind of indoctrinated in that faith, and 90% of your family follows that specific Abrahamic God, you kind of, I don't want to say lose yourself, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, I want to invite you, if you're not in our Discord, make sure you join the Deconstruction Junction Discord. The link is in my bio. You can also join my Discord. If you're in the Discord, drop a 1 in the chat, because we have so many great people. There is over 4,000 people. I think we're close to 5,000 now, people who have deconstructed from this religion, are deconstructing actively, or who were atheists all along. We've got pagans, we've got Christians, we've got Jewish rabbis in the Discord. So it's a mix of people that are deconstructing the Abrahamic religions, for sure, and some other religions.
Well, I appreciate the invite. And I just want to, I guess I joined the Discord for sure, and I just appreciate you taking the time to answer my questions.
Yeah, did you have anything else you wanted to ask while you're up?
I mean, so what do you think happens when we're on our life, when we leave Earth? I mean, obviously, if you're not subscribing to the heaven or hell, it just lights out, I suppose.
Tiny?
I don't think anybody knows. I think that there's a lot of speculation. I think that people have come up with a lot of ideas and explanations, but I don't think anybody knows. I don't think that there's any way to find out until it happens.
I mean, I guess that's why a lot of people cling on to religion in the first place, right? Because just the fear of the unknown to begin with. So we want to hope for the best and believe there's a heaven, or we're going to see our unalived relatives that passed away before us, and et cetera, right?
Yeah, but even heaven and hell is unknown, even in that religion. And the more I realized that, the more I was like, they don't know anything either. And I mean that God literally tells you it's up to him in the end who gets to go to heaven and who gets to go to hell. And so no matter what you do, you literally still don't know if you're going to heaven, even if you are a Christian, because in the end, it is at God's whim. So they don't have certainty either. And
Right.
so to me, it's all uncertain. And so hanging on to a God that may or may not be the right one, even if there is a God, there's no way you could prove to me that that is the correct God. Everything's uncertain when it comes to that. I don't think that we could be 100% certain of what happens when we die. I think that what I think happens to animals and plants and any other living thing when it dies. I think that I will go back into the earth. I will become nutrients and sustenance for other living things, and that's kind of cool because in reality, I will live on. I just my consciousness won't, and that's cool to me. I'm okay with that.
So I understand like a lot of people who deconstructed from the faith, or just people who are atheists in general, would say that God's immoral and the Bible, we shouldn't just follow the Bible because of the Old Testament, that all the evil stuff they've done in the past. But would you agree that somewhat religion is kind of needed in society? Like it can be used as a tool. You know, some would say that they use it for evil. Some would say that they use it to cling on something that's good, or to give them hope. Or do you think that that we as a society will be better off without religion in general?
Tiny, what do you think?
I I think religion's not necessary whatsoever. I think that like people need to work with people, but I don't think we need to have like an institution for that. I don't know. I hope one day personally that we evolve past the point of needing crutches like that. But I mean, I'm an optimist though, so
True. I believe that religion is not necessary. I believe right now in this day and age, if you came to me and told me like, yeah, but my friend got off, hardcore stuff because of their religion and they used to be a really bad person. They used to, like break into homes or do these awful things, but because of their religion, they aren't doing it, then I'm not going to try to take that from them. Okay. But as a society, humanity as a whole does not need religion. We used it to fill in gaps of knowledge, but now we know how to acquire the knowledge. We know it takes time on certain areas to figure things out, but we do figure it out. And every time we search for the answer to anything, it always comes down to a natural um, a natural answer. The answer is never supernatural. We have never gone, oh my God, we did all the research and we figured out it was magic all along. That has never happened in the history of ever. So if we would start using the skills and knowledge and everything that we have, we I think we would be better as a society.
Fair enough. I completely agree. Completely agree. So, since you guys deconstructed from the faith, do you still have that thought in the back of your head of thinking, well, what if I'm wrong? What if there is a hell? What if there is a heaven? Like the Pascal wager type of deal? Do you guys still have that thought maybe in your mind, or you just look past
Do
it and
you,
say, well,
Tiny, do
I'm sorry?
you?
Okay.
do I think that there? No, I don't. No, I don't even consider that. Like, I like there's so many different versions of afterlives out there that Pascal's wager is like a dichotomy between like either you believe one religious afterlife or you believe in nothing, right? That's what it's presented to be. But this removes the afterlife under Norse paganism. It removes the afterlives under like the Egyptian pantheon, the Greek pantheon, the South American, the North American indigenous. Like there's so many different versions of even just like the Christian paradigm as well. Like it wouldn't be just one or none, right? It would be
Right.
one out of thousands or none. You know, like I don't think Pascal's wager is something that was thought out through exactly, because it just removes all these other versions or variations of what an afterlife could be. I mean, there's even like a like there's people who are atheists who are spiritual, who think that we have spirits or souls. I don't hold to that, but there are some out there that do hold to that, and they also hold to like some sort of like afterlife, in the sense that their energy still lives on and their consciousness still somehow lives on in the universe. But I don't think that is even rational or valid. So I don't know. I don't think Pascal's wager does anything, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I agree. I do not I do not ever go, what if I'm wrong, especially about the Christian Abrahamic God. Not a doubt in my mind that that God is 100% human manufactured. Everything about that book tells you that it was made by men, specifically men. Let me put that very clear to you, okay?
Right.
And from the moment that snake talks, I should have put down that book. I should have said, what the fuck am I reading here? But, you know, because I would not have read it as historical and scientifical, you know, type of shit had I not been indoctrinated. Any other mythology book you handed me and said, here, read this, I would have said, this is so obviously people writing a fun fiction story, you know, but I didn't do that with the Bible because I was indoctrinated. So and if there was a God, and let's pretend there is an afterlife connected with this God, I just don't believe that any God with any kind of brain and any kind of heart would go, you're going to go to hell because you don't believe in me, even though I have literally given you nothing that makes me evident. I've given you zero evidence that I even exist, but you have to still believe. That is the dumbest thing ever. Like, what? There's no. So if he does exist, fuck him. If that's who he is, that's the way I feel. Like, I don't know. That's just stupid. But so no, I don't sit here going, oh, what if I'm wrong? Because, like I said, there's no way I'm wrong about the Abrahamic God, and any other God could not be that cruel.
Okay, understandable. So since Christians would use the Bible as their standard of where they get their morals from, since atheists believe everything would be subjective, what's like the best way to live life in your eyes?
Oh,
Where do you get your
so it's ironic that Christians think that their morality is objective when
Right.
that's not the case. They have a stance on their morals just like any individual or any other collective or society or group of people would have. So their moral system is no different than anybody else's.
But if you don't
Period.
mind me, what makes you say that? Because if you would ask a Christian that, they would completely disagree.
Well, they don't understand the word objective and the word subjective. That's all that means. They don't know that their stance is what they're basing their morals on, which would make it stance dependent, which would be subjective. That's the definition of what subjective is. It's dependent upon stance. And to be independent from that stance or objective, they would have to have provide some sort of stance independency there, which I don't think anybody can provide.
Well, I mean, their stance would be the Bible. So like, I'm not saying what you're saying is incorrect. I mean, everything you're saying is
But
logically
I
making
can
sense. But
I can show
Yeah,
them
they
that
subjectively
they don't
have
use
morals
the Bible.
through the Bible.
But also they don't use the Bible, and I can show them
That's
that.
true,
And I
too.
can show you right now if you'd like, Paul. So, do you know the Bible?
I'm familiar with the New Testament, the Gospels, a little bit of the Old Testament. You know, if I'm not going to say that I'm a biblical scholar or I read it from A to Z, you know, or I'm fluent with
Okay.
it, but you know, I got a grasp of it.
That's fine. You got your an average Christian's
Right.
knowledge of the Bible, right? So
Right.
I'm gonna ask you, and you're gonna be the Christian right now, showing me that your morals come from that book. Okay. All right.
Fair enough.
So would you say that grape is immoral?
Yes.
So having sex with anybody without consent would be immoral, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Could you show me in the Bible where consent is ever laid out, ever?
Oof. Well,
I can tell you right now it's not in there, okay? And so
I'll tell you
if
where
you
consent
are
is denied.
right. If a Christian is telling you that their morals are objective and yet they find that grape is immoral, and yet the Bible not only condones grape but never lays out any time where consent is mandatory, then what you just showed me is your morals are subjective. You
Well-
use your own subjectivity, even with the
Well-
Bible.
well, I guess just in a nutshell, can you just show me where it says that they're allowing that, they're allowing grape or anything along those lines, please?
I mean, I don't
Numbers
want to
31.
I just want to bring up one point before we do all the Numbers 31 and stuff. There is nowhere in the Bible ever that it says that you cannot grape a widow or a widow. There's somebody else, and if grape was always immoral, then the widow would be mentioned too, but she's not. Okay, but go ahead, Tiny. Tell them about Numbers.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's prisoners of war mentioned in Numbers 31, 17 through 18. These are war brides or concubines that, like, it talks about unaliving everybody that's there except for those who have not seen the touch of a man, which would be young virgins. And the only purpose to do that would be to take them as war brides or to take them as concubines. That's the only intention that you can see behind that. There's another passage too in Deuteronomy 21, 10 to 14, where it talks about another prisoner of war situation. If you see an attractive woman among the captives, you can take her to your house, shave her head, pare her nails, and then let her mourn her loss of her family for a month. And then after that, it says literally, you can go in unto her, which, I mean, that's like, you can literally like make her your wife right then and there. It doesn't mention her consent anywhere in this. It doesn't mention anything that she has any say for any of this. And at the end, if you're displeased with her and you don't like what she, like the performance or whatever, then you can just basically get rid of her. And she can't be bought as a slave now because of that. You're divorcing her, basically. It's like just taking a war bride in for a month, trying her out, and then kicking her out again, basically, if you want to. And nowhere in this doesn't mention any of the consent of the woman.
Okay, so since you're putting me in the Christian perspective, what would you say if I told you that is part of the old covenant and the Christians don't follow the old covenant, we follow the new covenant?
Without the old covenant, the new covenant can't exist. It literally says, I did not come to abolish the law, but to fulfill it, which is a continuation of the old covenant. So you can't divorce the new covenant from the old covenant. You would be shooting yourself in the foot.
Even if you did say that, Paul, you don't believe it, because you will tell me you still have to follow the 10 Commandments, and Christians will still tell me it's wrong to be LGBTQIA. And that's all in the old covenant. So people only pull that out when they don't like what the old covenant says. they don't really believe that they don't have to follow the old covenant. They just want to do things and get away with it. But again, I want to go back to the grape thing and the consent. Okay, I want to stay there for a minute. In the Bible,
Okay.
it tells you that if you grape a woman and she is a virgin and she is not betrothed, then you pay her father 50 shekels and you have to marry her and you can't divorce her. Okay, where is the consent to the woman in any of that, Paul? Why doesn't the woman get paid the 50 shekels, Paul? Where does she get to decide if she wants to marry her rapist? It's not there because consent is not in the Bible. It doesn't exist. But you just told me you believe in consent and it's morally right to have consent. So remember that our whole topic is, do their morals come from the Bible? They absolutely do not. They are subjective just like everybody else's.
Well, I mean, in that sense, I'm not 100% agree with you, but on the same time, correct me if I'm wrong. In that context, of the verses you just mentioned, isn't it talking about the war situation that's going on with the Israelites and another nation?
No, this is
Deuteronomy
talking about just
22:28.
what I brought up is if a man just grapes a woman and she is not betrothed, okay? There's something else that happens if she is betrothed. There's something that happens if she doesn't scream loud enough. There's all these rules to it, okay? But none of them actually address the woman and her consent. It is all about her being a piece of property, either first her father's or her husband's. It is not about her or her consent.
Gotcha.
And the proof is that nowhere in the Bible does it tell you you can't grape a widow. If you grape a widow, nothing happens to you. You're allowed to grape a widow. You can do that. That's cool. It's allowed.
Well, I guess in that sense, I'll have to concede and agree with you. Yeah.
Hey, Forrest, welcome to Decon Q&A with CrystalJae. Did you have a question for Tiny?
Hey, give me just a minute.
Okay. Paul, did you have another question?
I guess not at the moment. I'll probably just mute up or drop off from the panel and give you guys a follow. And if I can see the link of your Discord, then I'll happily join and I go from there.
All right, sounds good. Thank you so much for coming up today. It's been very nice talking to you. Very nice meeting you. Big W in the chat for Paul. I really appreciate you.
Likewise. Y'all have a good day.
Thank you. You too. Yeah,
Paul, nice to meet
I
you.
can't remember. Somebody just mentioned this the other day. I think it was Mac Lester who was saying that the Bible never mentions what happens if you grape a widow, and somebody else but I can't remember what it is. I'll have to ask him. But there's two types of women that you can grape and nothing happens to you. There's no punishment for it.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. I didn't even know about that, about the widow thing.
Yeah,
Maybe it's a child? I was thinking maybe it's a young woman, maybe? Or a young
maybe.
girl.
I'll have to ask him. I just can't, for some reason it just escapes me.
Your wife?
Maybe your wife, but I don't think that's what he brought up. But that is a good one. That is true. It doesn't say anything about that. You can do that. As a matter of fact, her body belongs to you. That's what the New Testament teaches us. I do know that it doesn't mention children anywhere in there because Joel Reed's Bible likes to point that out. That don't F kids. That's he says nowhere in the Bible. It will tell you not to sleep with your donkey, not to sleep with your aunt, not to sleep with but it doesn't say that. Forrest, how are you today?
Hey,
I'm
Forrest.
doing well. Just adding to kind of what you're talking about earlier, where Christians believe that their morals are based on the Bible, but not in reality. Another great example that I can think of is terminating a pregnancy. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that word on here, where there's precious little actual biblical reinforcement of that idea, and there's actually some inferences you can make from certain verses like Numbers 5, where it doesn't seem like God
Yeah.
really cares a lot about terminating pregnancies, but
No.
Christians are like obsessive about it and insist that it's like biblically based morality, and it's not. Doesn't seem to be the case.
I agree.
Yeah. I came up here to vent a little bit of frustration because I had this whole like sort of talking point I developed about Ezekiel 26, and Justin from Deconstruction Zone sort of tipped me off to this, where it's a failed prophecy, and then Ezekiel himself tells you that it's a failed prophecy, and then in chapter 29 tells you that there's going to be like a consolation prize of Egypt given to King Nebuchadnezzar II, and that's also.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So it's like a.
Is that the seas of Tyre or whatever that city is?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. So that was a totally failed prophecy, and I put like 4 hours of research into like building this talking point up, like reading historical sources, kind of understanding like the background, the context. And I went on lives and like started talking to Christians about this, thinking that I was gonna I researched the apologetics I imagine they would use and like what's the response to that. And so I was like hoping to get like a kind of a sophisticated conversation with it, but instead I didn't get any of that. It's just like they literally just deny the words on the page. They just don't.
It's so weird, right? They're like, oh wait, I don't know what to say to this. So that's not what it says.
No.
That's not what that word means.
Yeah. It
Well,
just came
there's
down
two
to like
things
basic
that
reading
happen.
comprehension.
There's two things that happen when you read the Bible. One of them is exegesis, where you're reading the text in the context. And the other one is eisegesis, where I see Jesus all throughout the Old Testament, where it's like
Right.
you're either adding context or you're taking a misinterpretation of the context of it, especially in the case of something like Isaiah 53:5, where it talks about like the Babylonian exile and what it's like to be an Israelite during that time and the treatment of that person. And it's not at all a prophecy. In fact, the wording is past tense, where it describes prior events. It doesn't say this is going to happen or this person will be, but this is what happens and this is what they do and this is how they are. It's not like this is what will happen, if that makes sense. Like that's one really big example.
I really like about that story is the fact that they are so ahead of King Nebuchadnezzar that they're able to move all of their treasures without God knowing where they moved them to. Like, you're telling me this is an all-knowing God, but Tyre literally hid all the treasures, and God then had to go, oh, I know I promised you this, but I'm going to give you a consolation prize because I don't know where they hid their treasures. And so
We
what?
We didn't even get to that level because they were just denying like what the prophecy says, and it's like I'm taking the mainstream interpretation of what the words on the page mean. It's not like I have a fringe view of how to interpret those verses, but they just denied and said I'm not allowed to interpret because I don't have the Holy Spirit, so I can't. I know. It's just
That's stupid.
Yeah, I came to just vent my frustration because I was actually excited to like battle test this and like engage in like a medium level discourse and stuff, but it just doesn't never go there.
Let me tell you something I watch Justin and people do when they do that, okay? You don't have the Holy Spirit, okay? Well, you do. So tell me, what does it say? What was the prophecy? Okay, and then they're not going to be able to tell you anything because they don't know, and there is no Holy Spirit telling them what it said. And so, they're going to fumble even further, but you just tell them, fine, you've got the Holy Spirit, read it to me and tell me what it said, because I have reading comprehension skills, and if you actually believe this book to be true, all of humanity knows, now has the knowledge of good and evil. And so I have reading comprehension skills that tells me that God is the evil one in this book.
Yeah.
And you're telling me I'm wrong because you've got the Holy Spirit. So go ahead, translate it for me. Tell me what this story really says. They'll never have anything about
Right.
it.
Yeah,
It
that
just-
that
yeah.
whole right before I got on, the whole morality thing is a particular that's just like a pet peeve of mine, because they like to snark about that so much, about how they have objective morals. But you did a good job showing that it's just an illusion of objective morals. They don't actually have objective morals. They can't demonstrate it ever. And when you try to translate it into real life, like hey, pretend you're sitting on a medical ethics board and you have to make these hard decisions. Where, like, how do you get objective answers? Like, if I put 10 different Christians on the medical ethics board, you're telling me you're going to return the same answer every time? And like, what are you going to use to make those decisions? You're going to be talking about like harm reduction. You're going to be talking about resource management. You're going to be having, talking about quality of life. You're never going to pull your Bible out and go to page 743 and it says on there, like, hey, if you're ever on a medical ethics board here, do this to Steve. Like, it just, so anyway, but I gotta
Right.
keep going.
Well, thank you for coming up. I appreciate you guys. Big W in the
Yeah,
chat.
good to see you, Forrest.
Forrest. I've got
Peace
some
out.
questions over on YouTube. Vinny F has so much to say over on YouTube. So let me see. Let's see. I don't even know where to begin with this one. First, somebody wanted to know my OnlyFans. I don't have OnlyFans. If you're a fan of mine, just do all the good things right here on YouTube. Make sure you're subscribed. Over here, make sure you subscribe. It's less than a cup of coffee a month. I also have the little hand heart little gift goal right now. It's only 5 coins each, so if you can send me up the little hand hearts. Also, you can tap that screen because I'm only at 15,000 likes, and I watch you give people like 100,000 in 10 minutes. So I know we can up those likes to get me up to over 25,000 as quickly as possible. Thank you, KJ, for the hand hearts. I really appreciate it. Vinny, what do you really want me to ask? You asked, where do you think you go when you die, which we did talk about, but I'll let him go over that again if you'd like. And what point do you believe that you are making, sir? I don't know. But you can. I just thought I would read those out. So there you go.
Well, the point that we're making is to think about things, just critically analyze things. Don't take things at face value. Have some critical thought. Have some skepticism. I mean, it's good to have epistemological skepticism and humility, being humble about things. Like, well, maybe I could be wrong. Like, I think like absolutism is probably one of the worst things. Oh, that was cool. I think absolutism is like probably the worst way to go. Like, it's either this or it's not. And I think
Right.
I think that's what happens when we go into topics about morality. Like, Christians like to offer and say, like, well, it's absolutely certain that X has to happen every single time a certain way. And then, well, what about stealing? You think you shouldn't steal 100% of the time? Oh, yeah, absolutely. You shouldn't do that. Okay, well, what if somebody's starving and their only option to survive, literally, is to steal? That's the only option they have. And they're like, oh, well, I guess, yeah, that's well, okay, well, then it's not 100%. It's not absolute. And that part is something they just keep ignoring because
It's true.
God, I guess, is the reason. I don't know.
I don't know. Also, they want to know who the fuck asked me about my OnlyFans. They don't believe that somebody asked me. Jordan did on the YouTube chat. Scroll back up. He said, "What's your OF?" Hey, listen. Everybody's got a kink, baby. Everybody's attractive to somebody. Just because you don't find me attractive doesn't mean that somebody else doesn't want to watch me on OnlyFans. Maybe he's got a glasses kink. We don't know. Anyway, let's see if we have other questions over here. Nope, just people saying things like douchebag and stuff. Oh, wait. Paul specifically talks in the New Testament about how the Holy Spirit works within you. This, again, it doesn't exist. What is this woman talking about? I think that Vinny's lost over there. I don't know if I could help him any better. I thought I was being pretty clear and concise in my responses, but guess I'm confusing. Good morning, AK. If you guys are in chat and you have questions for Tiny, please come on up. The guest box is open. Thank you, AK. Hi, Fat Jesus. So come on up if you'd like. If you have questions over on YouTube, you can ask them in the chat and I will read them out to Tiny. Until then, I have some more questions that I want to ask. Let's see. I have them written down here. So you say that like your brothers and sisters and stuff already like kind of helped you. Are there any family members that you do feel a little strain with since you're not a Mormon?
I mean, I've got a huge family, so not really. Like if I see them or ever talk to them or see them on like Facebook, I'll like tell them happy birthday. I'll like say hi on Christmas or New Year's, you know, stuff like that. But like, I don't think anybody hates me or avoids me intentionally. Yeah. So, I mean,
Yeah.
yeah.
I think that there are people in my family who hate me, but it's not because I'm atheist. They just don't like me, and I don't care. I don't really like them either, so that's okay. But I have very extreme people in my family. So yes, I have MAGA, and I have people who are into every conspiracy, and I have narcissists that are actual narcissists, not me diagnosing them. So yeah, they're not all gonna like me, and that's okay. I don't want those people to like
Yeah.
me or love me
My
in any way.
brother is into the MAGA stuff all the time, and him and I talk about like the trans issues, and I always ask him, I'm like, what is the harm? That's what I always ask him. I'm like, what are they doing that's bad? And he's like, well, they're teaching kids blah blah blah. And I'm like, they're teaching kids to have their own personal identity.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, well, they're teaching kids this stuff directly, and plus it's dangerous to let them in bathrooms. And I'm like, okay, why is it dangerous? Like, what's the harm in that? And he's like, well, it's just harmful. I'm like, well, what's the data and evidence for, you know, trans people doing more harm in bathrooms than men? And he's like, well, those are men. And I'm like, well, does it say if they're transgender, or does it say if they're transitioning? And he's like, well, no. And I'm like, okay, well, usually he just ends up getting mad, and we end up changing the topic because like he just keeps getting mad. So
You know, I really hate when men bring up the bathroom thing because they should shut the
Right.
fuck up. They're not in my bathroom. They don't know what goes on in a woman's bathroom. Okay, so just like if a man starts to say the bathroom thing, I immediately want to tell them to shut the fuck up. I am almost 60 years
fair.
old. And in my 60 years of life, there are a few things I know to be true. No man has ever had to put on a dress to SA anybody, a child or a woman. Never had to. Have they done it? Possibly. But if they want to SA somebody, they do it. They don't give a fuck. They just do it. 2, I fear men, actual men, cis, white specifically, more than anything, men being in that bathroom than I do any trans woman, okay? I have never been afraid to go into the bathroom where a trans woman was going in or was in or anything. Have I been afraid that there might be a man waiting in that bathroom for me? Absolutely. That's why women don't very often go to public restrooms by themselves. You think that we're all going in there to gossip, and that's what the media has shown you since the 50s, that women get up and go powder their noses and we all go in the bathroom to gossip? That's not what we're doing. We're all going to the bathroom, but we go together in case some motherfucker is waiting in there for us. So I hate that bathroom conversation. It's the dumbest one. There is
It
no
really is.
statistics that show that trans women attack women in the bathroom. I don't know one woman who has ever been attacked by a trans woman, let alone in the bathroom. But so many women I know that I could not count have been SA'd by a man.
And typically,
So
it's a
I
man
hate
that they
that.
know.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Absolutely. Hi, Anna. How are you today?
Yeah.
Thank you for
You
the
know,
gifts. I appreciate you.
I always thought that women go into the bathroom in groups because they're doing illicit substances.
Well, sometimes that's true too, okay? But we do it in groups. And also, never let your children go into a public bathroom by themselves until they're
Exactly.
an age. People who go, but what about my little kid? Why are you letting them go in there by themselves? First of all, public bathrooms can be disgusting. What if your child walks in there and there's feces everywhere? That actually happens. Like, go in, make sure it's a clean place for them, help them if they need help, and check the stall for them. Don't let your kids go into a public bathroom by themselves. That's ridiculous. Don't do that. Anyway.
And
It's
wash
just
your hands,
I hate
people.
that.
Wash
Yes.
your hands.
It's disgusting. Stop being Jesus and wash your hands. Just wash your damn hands.
What verse is that? What is that? Is it
Oh,
in
shit.
Mark or Matthew or?
I want to say that's in Matthew. I think it's
Yeah,
in
I think-
Matthew. You know, for me, it was different with each child, Rabbi, but around the age 11, my children started showing more responsibility, that they knew why I wanted, like, I still waited outside the bathroom. And to be honest with you, with my grown-ass adult daughters and my daughter-in-law and stuff, we still go to the bathroom together. Like, we just don't go alone, especially if one of you is a little intoxicated. For God's sake, don't go to the bathroom alone. We went down to Mexico, and my daughter was very inebriated, and I followed her everywhere she went. I was like, I'm not letting her out of sight. You got to take care of your people, you know? Yeah, I think that I have no problem when moms bring their little boys into the bathroom, as long as they're teaching their little boys that you don't peek under or through, the doors and stuff. You give people privacy. Yeah, I don't see any problem with that. So Tiny, when did you start going live and creating content?
Oh, I joined TikTok like 2021 at the end of it, I think, and then around 2022, 2023, I started joining and going live. I think a year ago, I was at like 3,000 followers, I think. So in a year's time, I've gained a lot, I guess. Like, I think I'm at like 10K now, which is amazing.
Awesome.
Be grateful for that. Like, I think people like my voice, maybe. Like, I've always been told I have a great face for radio.
I do too. I have a great face for radio, and my laugh is obnoxious. So, yeah, what am I going to do about that? Hey, you guys, over on YouTube, I did mute Vinny, or not mute him. I hid the channel from him because his transphobia came out in full, color. So he's gone now. So no more Vinny over on YouTube. So when you first started going live, was it religion? Was it just science? Was it flat earthers? What did you start with?
Yeah, I mean,
Thank
I
you,
started
Rabbi.
out in like atheist chat rooms. I think it was Advanced was the guy that I started listening to, and then I came across Mr. Coco, and I met everybody there through him, and then I met Hanji and Justin and you guys, and
Bert, did I call you Benny? I'm sorry. I love you, Bert. I didn't mean to. Did I say that? Sorry.
Oops.
I think I called Bert Benny.
No, I still go around to like new atheists that I see popping up all the time too. Like,
I like that.
I don't know. Yeah, I think it's cool. I like hosting lives because I can actually ask people questions, you know, and get to actually talk to them. And when you join like other panels, it's always chaotic and it's hard to do that sometimes. It depends though on the panel. I don't know.
No, Vinny.
No, Vinny.
A guy,
Vinny.
A guy named Vinny on YouTube was
YouTube.
being transphobic. No, not Benny Boy. Vinny F over on YouTube was transphobic. Okay, I'm glad we got that cleared up. So, have you done a lot of flat earther debates?
Yeah, I try to avoid them. I try not to platform flat earthers. Like typically, if they say, "Well, how do you know the Earth is round?" I'll be like, "Do you think it's flat?" Like, I've never seen a single time anybody present a working model for a flat Earth. I've never seen that. I always ask them that question. Whenever I'm on like other panels and I talk to flat earthers, they always bring up these weird pseudo-scientific points that they're trying to get to show that the Earth is flat. And it's like, well, why don't we just have like a picture of 2 points that would be visible on a flat plane? And there's always like an excuse like, well, there's so much particles in the air that you can't see a certain distance. And it's like, you know, we can see space, right? You know, like, get serious, my guy. Yeah. Like, I don't know. It's just ridiculous. Flat earthers in 2025. Like, what are you doing with your life?
Well, and the one thing that I've noticed is I do believe there are Christians who come up on these panels over and over again because they are in a place of cognitive dissonance and they are hoping that they're either proven right or they're about to deconstruct. And that's why they keep coming back. I can see it whether they see it or not. They're like questioning things. But with flat earthers, they don't even want to know if they're wrong. There is no amount of evidence. There is nothing you can bring them to show them that they are wrong, that they will believe. And so to me, yeah, it almost feels pointless to debate with flat earthers, to be honest. What's your favorite scientist like argument or evidence that you bring to a table that is like, this one is a really good one that I like to use when I'm talking with Christians?
Well, I like talking about the fact that the Big Bang models that we have, like especially the current one, don't have an origin point. Like it doesn't have a beginning. This is something that they'll fight tooth and nail with because we don't have that information. Like we don't have anything before the hot dense state in which there's like no movement. We just know that there was a hot dense state and things started to expand or move or go outward. But like it's always, well, according to all scientists, we do have a beginning in the Big Bang. And it's like, no, we do not. We literally have a limitation to our observations. Like the fact that we can't see past a threshold. Like we can't see a t=0 moment because we the math starts to break down literally. Like we can't observe any further is the point basically.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and they're like, no, but it says that there's an initiation, there's an origin, this is the beginning, and it's like, just look into the papers about it. We have something that's known as a singularity, which is like a mathematical representation. And literally it's like the equivalent of getting to the square root of a negative number. It's just a mathematical impossibility. It's an indeterminate number. And that's what happens. Is we just can't.
Yeah.
We just don't have any information. So,
Tiny, do you have a degree in the science fields?
no, I just learn things.
Just love science?
I just absorb things. I'm like a sponge, basically.
That's me too. I don't hold a degree in anything, but I love reading. I love learning. I have often said, though, that I would say these past few years being in this community has probably been one of my biggest growths in my education, because I find myself reading books or looking up studies or whatever of things that I never would have thought, of even reading about before. And it's so fascinating to me. I always feel like if we didn't have the internet and this silly little dance app that we have called TikTok, I don't know that half of the people that I know now that I would even have crossed paths with and had any conversations with. But this community has made it so I'm talking to PhDs and people, Bible scholars, Hebrew scholars, and it always amazes me the amount of people who are just willing to pour out free education for me, and I love it. I soak it up.
Oh yeah. I love Dr. Blitz on here, Jorge Physics.
Yes.
Who else? GT is amazing. She's got a lot of videos and a lot of content. Also very fascinating to talk to as a person. There's Robbie Science, my favorite Kiwi on the planet. Yeah, he's one of the coolest people you'll ever talk to. Mitch the Scientist is great. Ian's really good at philosophy. Like, he's really good with science and everything too. Justin is extremely good with the Bible. Like, he knows that the Bible, like, it's his own skin. Like, literally.
The same with Thinker.
Yeah.
Thinker in the Bible
Thinker's
is
amazing
just,
too.
and with her learning Hebrew now, she's like just even going even deeper into it. It's amazing. Yeah, and Bash too, and
Bash,
Christina
Thinker,
Carroll.
Christino, and also,
there's so many super smart people on here.
So
I'd
many.
say Mac Lester, but I'm not going to give him credit for anything. No, I'm just kidding. Mac Lester is super knowledgeable too. There's so many great people on here with a variety of where their knowledge is and stuff. Like, I really like the show that Unapologetic with Blitz, Ian, and Justin, because then you get philosophy, science, and biblical scholarship all in one show. That's a great show.
It's the Trinity of atheism.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. So when you first started going online and stuff, were you kind of surprised at the connections you were able to make by doing so?
I mean, eventually, like, it took a while, like, to do, and just being there, talking to people and interacting with people, like, I really like it too. There's a lot of Christians I've met on here too that absolutely hate me because of what I do. And I think that means, well, yeah, some of them, there's like Darth Dawkins has me blocked because he's a coward, keeps running from me. Yeah.
He was really nice to me. Did you know that? It was very weird, Tiny. So I was doing a Decon Q&A with CrystalJae this one time, and he came up on like his backup account or something in the chat, and I was like, Darth Dawkins 2 or something. Like, I wonder if that's the real Darth Dawkins. And he goes, ahoy. And I didn't know that he says ahoy, and that sounded off to me, and I was like, nah, that can't be him, because why would he say ahoy? Like, I don't think he would say ahoy. And he said, no, it's really, really me. And then he requested up, and I brought him up, and and at first I still didn't believe it till I could hear his voice for a minute. And then I was like, this is wild. This is really you. And he actually was kind of funny and lighthearted. And then he dropped down. It was the weirdest interaction.
I joined a Christian's panel where he was up there, and I asked him a joke. I said, "What happens when Batman leaves his church?" Christian Bale. And then after that, he was like talking about the old Batman series, and like all the different actors and actresses that were on it, and like who played the Joker, like Cesar Romero, and like who played the Riddler, and like the different Catwomans. And like we had like a hour-long conversation about freaking TV shows and movies and actors and actresses, and it was actually decent. And that was like probably the most human interaction I've had with him, was talking about movies or media. And like it happened before that for like 20 minutes another time, where we were on a panel. I think it was Right Here Right Now's panel, and we were all talking. Darth was there, and he was doing that too. So maybe that's like a way to like connect maybe with Darth, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Maybe.
Could be.
I do like the way Daniel Green is, he's fostering
Daniel Green is amazing.
Yeah. And he's fostering a community where he wants us to not like all hate each other. If that's at all possible.
Yeah.
And so like, he just wants us to like start listening to each other more, and I love that. Daniel Green is going to be a guest on my show this weekend. We don't know what time yet. I'm working on it. If you are a part of the Deconstruction Junction Discord, or you are a subscriber here, you will be one of the first people to know. Or if you're in my Discord, you'll be one of the first people to know exactly what time. It is going to be Sunday in Australia. I do know that. We don't know what time exactly because he hasn't told me yet, so I can't tell you guys yet. But also, Justin has just booked with me for September 5th. So make sure you put that on your calendars, you guys. What is one of your favorite topics that you're most like passionate about in general, like whether it's about science or whether it's about free will or objective morality? What is one of your favorite things to delve into with Christians?
Yeah, I really like talking about like moral stances and how the word subjective and objective operate. A lot of times it's hard to talk to people about it because they're so convinced that there's like this absolute standard, and like sometimes it's a really good conversation to have, and other times it's just like it ends up devolving into getting yelled at. What I like to do though, what I've been doing recently, like over the past few months, is I like to give theists an opportunity to demonstrate their claims. And I think me doing that and like pushing them to provide answers instead of asking questions, like I've noticed that certain arguments, like the tag argument, where they just say, well, we have an explanation for where logic, knowledge, and rationality comes from, and this is God. And it's like, well, how do you really do that? And 20 times out of 10, it's a question, well, there's no other way. How do you do that as an atheist? And that's just literally begging the question towards that view. And it's not facilitating the claim that this is actually the case. And what I like to push them on is getting that justification that they say that they have in this being from God. And it's like 20 times out of 10, like I say, they switch the burden, they shift the burden. What's up, Will Dot? What's up, Rav?
What's up?
What's up?
What?
You guys. You guys are nerds. What's up?
Oh,
Okay,
well,
I had
thanks.
to do it too.
I
Okay, what's up?
was curious about if you've heard any like compelling theologies or anything like that.
I think the most compelling theology I've heard is from some random guy I've never met before about process theology and
Oh, get out of
the
town.
spandrel hypothesis.
Yeah, thanks, dude.
I
He's talking
want to
about
hear
me.
about it.
Yeah.
Tell me. I know he's talking about you. Now tell me. What is this? What is this?
Do tell.
No, I was asking you. I mean, I was asking. I think,
Oh,
So what was
well,
it that Rabbi Bert taught you about process theology?
Well, he's saying that basically it's the awe that we have for the things around us and the respect and the recognition for things around us, and that's what he thinks. He thinks God is just basically having a recognition and respect for your environment, and because everything that happens is basically an emergent property of nature, of everything that's here. So just acknowledging that and how things are is like respect for, and like it's like the awe that we feel basically. Am I getting that, Brad?
yeah, nailed it. Yeah, and I would just add like the process is both. It's not like a quality. Like there's no qualitative statement. Like it's not good or bad. It just is, and it's kind of about like yeah, like you said, like we are this emergent thing, and we have come to understand what suffering means and what beauty means, and we've come to live out all these things and develop values and communication and all these things. And because we are aware of those things, and because we understand that other people are aware of those things, we then have a ought, not an obligation, but an ought to engage with the question of is this a good choice or is this a bad choice? And by virtue of having that ought or that urge maybe or yearning to decide what's good or what's not good or whatever terms we want to use, that to me is like this. I wouldn't even say it's God. It's godly like sort of thing, or goodly, or like it's good to acknowledge those things.
It is good to acknowledge him. I have a problem giving anything the title of God, because as you know, like I don't really
It's
think
a 5 million pound bag.
God. Yeah.
Totally.
And so the fact that if one person can believe a shoe is God and another person believes that God has all the omnis, it leads me to believe that we don't really have a definition for God. So I don't know. For me, I don't really see.
Totally.
You know?
And that's the other thing. This has there's no expectation that anybody, there's zero expectation that anybody engage with this idea at all. Like, I think that's what
Right.
Tiny has said to me that's the most offensive, is that, like, people are like, try the lobster. And you're like, no, I don't really like the lobster. I think I'll try something else, or, like, I'm not hungry or whatever. They're like, no, try the lobster. Like, you must eat the lobster or you're going to hell. It's
yes,
like, fuck you.
Absolutely. Have you heard about the lobster, though? I don't think somebody's really ever explained the lobster to you correctly, though. It is literally lobster and butter. Did they tell you that it came with butter and a lemon? I don't think that they explained it to you correctly.
You must have eaten shrimp. You didn't really eat the lobster.
Yeah.
You never really ate the lobster.
You didn't have true lobster. You didn't have the
That's
true
true.
lobster. That's all.
Yeah,
it
you
is.
had langostinos.
Right? It wasn't
gotta-
Maine lobster. You have to have Maine lobster in order to have
Yeah,
the
you gotta
right
have the
lobster,
holy
because-
Maine lobster spirit.
Mhm.
Yeah, if
That's
without
true.
that, you just can't enjoy, lobster in general.
Now I want lobster, you guys. Sounds delicious. That sounds delicious. Oh my goodness. I had some lobster in Texas when I went on vacation. I order appetizers a lot for a meal because I'm expecting them to be smaller and smaller portion. And so I ordered these lobster bites. That's what it said. It was said lobster bites. I got an entire lobster tail. It was so freaking good. Oh my God, it was so good. But yeah, it was delicious. Now I want lobster.
Did you know that as lobsters exist along the eastern seaboard, as you go further and further south, the lobsters lose their claws? And so Florida lobsters don't have any
Really?
claws. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
This
Isn't that
is
wild?
new information to me.
You're
Why?
welcome.
Why don't they have claws?
Well, it's God's law,
Maybe it's
don't
a
you know?
temperature. Maybe it's a
It's got-
temperature thing. Because the further south you go, the higher the temperature. I think
Yeah.
maybe that
Yeah.
might be the
Yeah, might-
factor.
Maybe. Yeah. Or niche, like how their environment, like I don't know, like maybe
Mhm.
like they need claws for the particular food that we're eating, or temperature,
So the
or
shells are
clarity
really
of water.
soft.
Predators. Maybe there's more
Predators.
predators up north that,
Uh-huh.
that they need the claws with.
Mm.
Maybe. I don't know.
That's wild.
Could be a food thing.
Yeah. So if you get if you get lobster in Florida, you may be disappointed.
That
Could be
is
death, too.
wild. Hey, you guys, if you have a question for Tiny, come on up. The guest box is open. Also, you can ask it in chat. I will read it out to you. If you're on YouTube and you have a question, write it out in the chat. I'll read it out to him. Bert, what else have you got? And I'm trying to get you to stay up here because pretty soon we're going to play my game. So I'd love for you to play the game with us.
Is that me?
What other? Yeah, you. I want you to stay up here
Yes,
so you play
you.
the game with us today. Let me see. How do you handle trolls? Tiny, what do you do with trolls?
Oh, it depends. Sometimes I
Ben.
have fun and just troll along with them, or it depends. Like if they're just like blurting obscenities, I just like drop them. If they're trolling in a way that I know that they're trolling and they think that they're doing something, I like to go along with it and like try to like play along with them just for funsies, you know?
Merrily
So it
we
depends.
troll along. Troll along.
Yeah, Will Dot
Um,
said it best. Tiny Uno reverses.
I like that. It depends on my mood. Like last night, we had some guy come up, and he was just one of the belligerent people who are just like, answer my question, and it was like, what? This is not even that kind of live. Read the room, dude. And then when I tried to tell him to stop, he was like, you're just a secondary character, you fat bitch, and blah, blah, blah. And I was like,
Holy
wait,
shit.
I'm the second. It's weird because I'm pretty sure that's my name up there and that's my picture. And I don't know, I kind of look like the main character on this show. I feel I have a theme song, for goodness sake. And then I
Right?
booted him just so he could make sure he knew who the main character was. But it always depends on what mood I'm in, on how I'm going to handle it. So, Christians love to think that all atheists share one worldview. Like they don't understand that the only thing we believe the same is that we don't believe in a God. But do you have like a worldview, a personal philosophy, or that you hold true to?
I would say I'm an adaptist. Like I adapt with new things. I try to go with the flow as much as possible. I try to learn things as best I can. Like I try to research as much as I can. I love learning. I'm like a sponge too. Like I like picking up on, certain things within like a conversation, even like the nuance, like what
That's
people
where
are trying to actually say.
Yeah.
What?
Thank you.
Well, let me try pinning it. If I pin my thing, does it let you gift? That's weird.
It was doing that to me
Yeah,
on someone else's live. Like it said gifts are not allowed.
Mezzo turns
Like I
his
had like a
off
red.
sometimes, but I don't turn mine off, so I don't
It
know
didn't
why.
say it
That's
was
weird.
turned off. It said that this live is not allowed to receive gifts. Like it had like a red symbol on it. I've never seen it before. It was on
That is really weird.
Toot Philly Philistines, Tootski and Philly Red. They have their own.
Oh yeah.
And I don't know. It was weird. I think it was the night before last. That's when it happened.
That is weird.
I got a couple questions.
Go ahead.
Yeah, what's up?
Okay, so first question, like, where do you think this kind of, well, do you think, first of all, I guess I have three questions. Do you think that the Christianity or the religiosity that you or we experience on this app is reflective of a wider trend off the app? Like, is this happening in churches across America on Sunday morning?
I mean, in a lot of cases, yes. I mean, I can't say in all cases though, because, but like, I think that the beliefs that are there, like people just accepting things just at like face value, I think that that happens a lot more than we recognize, I guess. Does that make sense?
Yeah, for sure. And I guess like, kind of already have an idea of what I think the answer is, but like, where does that, how does that happen?
Well, I think it's from people's willingness to like investigate or look into things more than just like hear it. Like, there's so many people I know that will just read the headline of an article and they'll be like, well, see, look at this. This says X, Y, and Z. And you're like, well, did you like read the article? Do you know what it says in there? Do you know like why this happens? Like, especially when it comes to people that are like more MAGA leaning, they'll be like, well, look, this headline blatantly shows that, you know, tariffs aren't a bad thing. And it's like, well, do you even know what a tariff is? Like, do you even understand exactly what's going on there and how this operates and how it works? You know, and that to me shows me that this isn't just like a religious problem. This is like a information and yeah, like I think it's a human problem, honestly.
Have you ever considered like collecting data? Like, I feel like it would be really cool for all of these deconstruction lives to have like some organized data collection system. Like Forrest has already started kind of doing that with the. Have you seen him run that the Amalek verse and like, would you do this thing? And he's just like, it's a simple yes or no. Would you unalive children if God asked you to? And it's like almost 100% of people say yes. And like, I feel like that's important data.
That kind of reminds me of the Alex O'Connor question. Like, if you were a Canaanite and you knew the story, you knew what's going to happen, you knew what's coming, and they're about to attack you, and you know why they're about to attack you, would you fight back? Is the question. So it's kind of like, kind of similar to that, I would say. But it just gets people to think about like the repercussions of the things that they're advocating for. You know, like just getting people to think about it.
Totally. I guess what I'm asking more generally though is, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, I think what I'm asking more generally is like, has there ever been a conversation, and I guess this is also for you, Crystal, but like, has there ever been a conversation about what it would look like to record, like to create a spreadsheet of like, you know, or profiles of I don't like a tally of certain information that, there's trends that I see in each one of these things, and um, part of me wonders like where they're getting this information from, because they seem to all like have the same script. And when I was doing this
Yeah.
with Why Are We Here, I don't know
Mm.
if you remember me having those conversations with her, but that was like pre the election, um, and like people would have these clearly scripts that they could not uh, diverge from, but they were the same as other people's, like the same words, same syntax, um, you know, thoughtless, same responses. Like it was to me, just exactly how cults work. And to that,
Right.
and what's necessary about a cult though is
Well,
a progenitor of that information, somebody who is the info head who's dispersing this information. And I want to know who or
what
what that
what
is.
you're asking about is apologetics. It's called apologetics, and it's like the apologetics arguments, which cover the realm of philosophy, science, and you know, the scripture as well. Like there's always an excuse or some sort of like, I don't know exactly who started that, but I know that it's been going on for a couple thousand years now. I mean, you can look back as like at the church fathers if you want to like have an origin for it. I'd say around like the third century is when it was really heavy, you know. But I think just the realm of apologetics.
I think that if you watch Mezzo and Joel, Mezzo does it every once in a while, and I think that's what he was working on last night because I was in and out of his show last night. Um, but he has done clips where he will ask the Christians an atrocious thing and then clip them and then put it together as a montage so that everybody can see that they say the same thing. So, like I said last night, he was saying, I am an atheist. I do not believe. And the punishment for that is to burn in hell for an eternity, to die, basically, like, do you think that I deserve death? And then when they would say yes, he would say, now can you please say in a full sentence, as a Christian, I believe you as an atheist deserve death. And so he is kind of collecting those. I came up with a new question myself about slavery because I wanted to know what they thought about this. And so I've started to ask this. Maybe I should combine all the clips together to kind of get an idea of how many people answer it this way. But they often try to say that God didn't condone slavery. He just gave rules for the time because that was what was going on. And so he was just trying to lay down some rules. And I said, okay, that's fair enough. So I am a mother of three. This is all true. I'm a mother of three. I have three beautiful children. And I do not condone stealing, but I'm well aware that people are going to steal anyway. So I think it's really important that I teach my children what stores they can steal from, how to steal from those stores, how to treat people too when they're stealing. I don't want them to be hurting anybody because that would not be okay. And what stores not to steal from and stuff. But I think it's important that I teach them that. Would that make me a good mom? And of course they say no. So what's the difference with what God did with slavery?
Yeah, I'm with you, and I think like this when they say to your point, to exactly to your point, when
Mm-hmm.
they say that that was for the time and place, yes, absolutely, that's true, and and um, a, it doesn't make it right, but more importantly, then you have to admit a whole other cache of realities that go along with that, and if you can't accept that it's not set in stone and that um, the that it is so clearly reflective of a emergent tradition as opposed to a transcendent tradition. Like
Right,
if you can't come to terms with that, then you're full of it, full of baloney, a phony baloney
right,
sandwich.
right. And anybody who's going to teach you how to do something that is immoral in any other circumstance, they are condoning it. That's exactly what I would be doing if I went and taught my children how to do it, where to do it, when not to do it. I'm still condoning them doing it. I'm literally giving them guidelines.
And by the way,
So,
hot
of
take.
course,
Hot take.
yeah.
I think it's okay for people to steal from Walmart. I I'm not totally opposed to people doing that.
I'm not
And
totally
especially like
opposed to theft either.
Will Dot pointing out that theft is a failure of society, not of the individual. That is like the key point. So, one of my professors, who was my Talmud teacher in rabbinical school, she was asked to be on a jury for somebody who had stolen from a store. And her first question was, what did they steal? And they stole food. Why did they steal the food? Because they were uh, without a home and they had children. And so her next question was, so you're saying to me, you want me to listen to a trial and convict a person who is trying to feed themselves and their children, um, and decided to steal food, not anything else, not money, not armed robbery, nothing like that. And they dismissed her from the jury, obviously. And she proceeded to go out and buy $1,000 of food and donate it to the food pantry. To me, I mean,
I like
obviously,
that.
like, yeah, but like even still, like pantries are a symptom of a sick society as well.
Yes.
There used to be, I know, I'm sorry, I'll shut up after this, but there used to
You don't
be,
have to.
I feel like I just pontificate and then I like annoy
You
everybody.
don't.
It's like
You
I'm
don't.
a vacuum. So
Very good.
thanks. There used to be a tradition in like when in Jewish neighborhoods, like in the Lower East Side of Manhattan or Williamsburg, that people, not poor people, people would go knock on doors and hold out a white cloth, and people would put money in it, and then they would walk away. And this was all then donated to the poor plate. And the point is that it didn't happen at the synagogue that would make people feel shame or feel like they had to compete for who's putting a bigger billfold in the wicker basket, but that it was private, anonymous, and and not in private. Yeah, like that it was. Yeah, I said the things I needed to say. I guess I don't know. There's just got to be a better way. That's all I'm saying. That's like that provides dignity and an actual solution that isn't just a band-aid on the Titanic.
Yeah. Brent MF over on YouTube had said there are 50 million slaves today. I don't know if that number is exactly true, and he retracted, but I don't know why. But there are millions of slaves today. So for people to think that that God was just talking about those times, how can your God be the same yesterday, today, and forever, and still only be talking to them about an issue at that time when the issue still exists today? It doesn't make sense. It doesn't add up. You guys, now is the time of the show where we like to play everybody's favorite game, Divine or Decline. If you are a friendly and you want to come up and play with us, the guest box is open. Please come up and play. It's such a fun game. You know, there's people talking about it all over the internet. I think that Jimmy Fallon, no, I don't know. It's a fun, silly game that we like to play here. And I have to find what I just did with my, oh, silly, it's right in front of me. My iPad, because it has the questions on it. Here's how we play the game. And if I see you in chat and you're my friend, I'm gonna try to pull you up, okay? So you better come up because you know that I like people up here. I'm gonna see if Annika can come up. I don't know if she can. She might be working or something. Who else? Like, who is in here today? Rabbi's already up here. All right. Today's game, here's how we play. I'm going to read you a phrase. If it is from the Bible, and I use the New American Standard Bible because it's copyright free, and then I don't have to deal with any Christian lawyers coming after me. If it's a New American Standard Bible verse, then it is divine. If it is from the Quran, the Book of Mormon, or it's just made up bullshit, it is decline. There are no points. Everybody's a loser here on Decon Q&A with CrystalJae during divine or decline. I need Joel to make me like a little theme song for this game, like he did for Hump Day Dump Day. If you haven't heard his Hump Day Dump Day song, you are really missing out. Watch him on a Wednesday night for him to play it. Literally the most annoying song ever. Hump Day, Dump Day, diddly diddly Dump Day. That is truly the lyrics to that song. All right, you guys, here we go. I'm going to read the verse. I'm going to start from the top, work my way down, and your answer is divine or decline. If you are a subscriber, you've got divine or decline stickers. Let me show you what you got there. We got cool divine or decline stickers for your answers. Plus, did you guys see I made new stickers too? Because, you know, I realized that the Christians see crystals as something demonic. And so I wanted to lean into that a little bit. So I got some crystals in our, I got crystal balls and crystals and geodes and rubies and stuff. So yeah, so
That's
there you go.
awesome.
What about Crystal?
Oh, I should add a bottle of Crystal. Okay, I'm going to add that next. That sounds wonderful. All right. Number 1. As a dog returns to its vomit, so a fool repeats his folly. Annika.
Thessalonians of Crystal.
Okay, Rabbi.
I think it's from the Quran.
Okay, so these are 2 declines. Tiny.
I think that it's from Harry Potter, the Goblet of Fire, I think.
Accurate.
So everybody says decline. That happens to be my favorite Bible verse. That's Proverbs 26:11. I love to just put that in the random chat because you know how they'll just post like John 3:16. I will say Proverbs 26:11. I just think it's so funny. All right, next. Let your laughter be turned into mourning and your joy to gloom. Annika.
Wait, joy to gloom? That's definitely
Yeah. Okay. Okay, divine. All right, Rabbi.
Well, I don't think it's the Hebrew Bible, but I'm going to say Christian Bible. That's my guess.
So divine, though, it would be divine for this case.
I guess. Yeah, I guess.
Okay,
You just got me to say that out loud, so kudos
yes,
to you.
I did.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the halo and not the horns.
All right, we're going with the halo. That is divine. That is James 4:9.
Nailed it.
All right. Number 3. He who builds without a cornerstone shall blame the storm, not the sand. Annika.
divine.
All right, Rabbi.
I deny or decline.
Okay, Tiny.
Yeah, I think that that's from something else. I don't think that's from the Bible, so I'm gonna go with decline.
That is from Crystal. That is from the book of Crystal, and it's chapter 4, verse 17. No, I don't know. I should write this all down as a book of Crystal when I'm done. All right. The wind obeys him, and the sea kneels in silence. Annika.
Decline.
All right, Rabbi.
Is this like that part where they're like on the boat fishing? I'm gonna say from the Christian Bible also.
Okay, so that's divine. Say
Divine, the vine. I'm going with the vine.
okay, Tiny.
Divine.
That is also made up from the Book of Crystal. So the wind does not obey him.
I win.
I was thinking it was the Quran at first, honestly, for some reason.
I will give you my tips.
Really?
If it's
It
from
just
the
makes you
Quran, I
think.
might say the word jugular or something like that. And if it's from the Book of Mormon, I'll probably say the word white. No, I'm just kidding. These are two things that the audience has told me happens. Okay. And the people did cry unto the heavens, but the heavens withheld their peace. Annika.
Divine.
All right, Rabbi.
Sorry, I missed it. I was working on I'm working on a curriculum guide. What did you say? I apologize.
And the people did cry unto the heavens, but the heavens withheld their peace.
I really want to say decline there. I'm gonna say decline. Yeah.
All right, Tiny.
I'm gonna go with divine on this one.
That's because it's from the Book of Mormon, and you were a Mormon, so that's decline. That's Book of Mormon, 1830. There is no creature crawling on the earth, nor bird flying with its wings, but they are communities like you. Annika.
This is the bats are birds thing, isn't it?
No, that's not.
I was joking.
Yeah. Sorry.
Decline.
All right, Rabbi.
Can you say it one more time? I'm sorry.
There is no creature crawling on the earth, nor bird flying with its wings, but they are communities like you.
It sounds like the Hebrew Bible, but it sounds like I'm gonna say the Quran, so decline.
Okay, Tiny.
So, this was an episode of Reading Rainbow where the Farquharson was talking about diversity and communities. Yeah, so I'm going to go with decline.
Okay, it is declined. That is from the Quran. It is 638. Good job, Rabbi. All right, number 7. A house full of feasting with strife is worse than dry bread with peace. Annika.
Damn that dry bread.
I know.
Decline.
Okay, Rabbi.
I kind of like this one. I'm gonna go divine Hebrew Bible, maybe Proverbs.
Tiny.
I think it's talking about Ezekiel bread, so it's divine.
That is declined. That is again from the Book of Crystal. Thank you so much.
Oh, good job.
All right. Number 8. He who walks with wise men will be wise, but the companion of fools will suffer harm. Annika.
Oops. Divine.
All right, Rabbi.
I'm sorry. Would you mind repeating it again? I'm trying to do two things at once. I apologize.
That's okay. No problem. Don't worry about it. He who walks with wise men will be wise, but the companion of fools will suffer harm.
That's got to be Hebrew Bible.
All right, Tiny.
Divine.
I'm gonna go with divine.
That is divine. That's Proverbs 13:20. Good job.
Nailed it.
All right, number 9.
Number
the
9.
shadow of number 9.
Number 9.
Hey sis, number 9. Hey Jason, welcome in. The shadow of pride casts a longer darkness than the night. Oh, I'm sorry, Annika.
Oh, sorry. Cast sounds like the Quran. Repeat it one more time, please.
Sure. The shadow of pride casts a longer darkness than the night.
Divine?
All right, Rabbi.
I'm going to say decline.
All
Yeah.
right, Tiny.
I think this was when Frodo and Samwise were first entering Mordor, and they were talking about the darkness that is the one true word. Yeah, I'm gonna go with decline.
That is decline. That is made up from my pretty little head. All right, you guys, number 10. This is for all the marbles. Winner takes all. Because
whole
we've been,
Megillah.
like, the whole Megillah. Okay, you guys, the Lord will strike you with boils, with tumors, with scabs from which you cannot be healed. On account.
Definitely
Goody.
divine.
Yeah.
All right, Rabbi.
I'm going to say, that you can't be healed from. That doesn't, I feel like there's always a way out. I'm going to say divine.
Okay, Tiny.
I'm gonna go with that dickhead of a god, divine. I'm gonna go with divine.
You guys would be right because that's Deuteronomy 28:27, and that is today's game of divine or decline. Thank you so much for playing. Tiny, when do you go live again?
Probably right after this.
Probably later tonight. Well, I'm gonna do some other stuff, like get some food, and I gotta go to the store. But probably later on tonight, maybe like 6 or 7, maybe.
Okay, awesome. Make sure you guys are following Tiny. Tiny, are you on YouTube and TikTok or just TikTok?
I do have a YouTube, but I don't really have it much on it. Just a bunch of old video game videos. I haven't posted anything on it. I think maybe I should transfer over some of my videos from here over there. But yeah, I mean, I'm on there.
Make sure you're following him over here on TikTok and join him tonight when he goes live. I might be doing a pop-up live tomorrow. I am going to be doing an interview for a new podcast. Why can't I ever Shattered Foundations, Reconstructing Self with Tahir and Earth Sanctuary. If you haven't heard of that, it's on the Deconstruction Junction YouTube channel. So make sure that you are subscribed to the Deconstruction Junction YouTube channel. I often broadcast over there. Mezzo broadcasts over there quite a bit, and a few others. If you are a creator, you can always talk to Benny or Tahir or Cam, and they can always see about broadcasting you on the Deconstruction Junction YouTube channel. And then this weekend, I don't know what time yet. You guys have to be following me to find out. Join my Discord. Subscribe here. Subscribe on YouTube. But I will be live this weekend with Daniel Green. And then I have a show coming up with Controversial Compass. I finally remember, right? I keep forgetting because I call him Coco, so I never remember. Controversial Compass will be live with me. I believe that's the 15th. And then I've got Joel and Mezzo and Justin will be here on the September 5th. Justin will be here. I have a lot of great people coming up, so make sure you're subscribed. You guys, thank you so much for being here today. Tiny, thank you for being my guest. I hope